Leadership takes on many forms. In fact, when you go to the Webster Dictionary and look it up, it gives you 4 different definitions for leadership. All are nouns. The office or position of a leader, capacity, number 1. Number 2 is capacity to lead. No. Number 3, the act or instance of leading. Number 4, leaders. It's not a very in-depth definition of what is a leadership. So, there's a reason for that. And that reason is because there is no clear-cut definition of leader. There's a few theories of what makes a good leader, but not one clear definition of this is how the right way to lead. But there was one authority who spoke up on how to be a good leader, and that authority was Jesus Christ. You're going to have to forgive me. I have a chronic cough issue. It's due to COPD. Anyway, Jesus said, "You know that the rulers, that the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It should not be so among you, but whoever should be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you, your slave. As the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many." This is Matthew chapter 20, verse 25 through 28. Jesus points out a new way to be points out a new way to be a leader, and that is to be a servant first, or more to the point, a slave. We call this servant leadership, if you want a technical term, but it's more than that. It's bigger than that. What Jesus is telling us is that we have to be the slave to others. Slaves had to do what they were told, and no matter what. But we think about how can a slave be a leader? Well, there are the slaves who escaped slavery, like Harriet Tubman, who later would lead other slaves to freedom, even at great risk to her. But the Bible takes it a little different route. And it tells people that are in slavery to be good to their masters. And there are some slaves that even if they didn't exactly believe in God or Jesus, they followed that rule. They were the most obedient slaves they were. What happens to those slaves? Well, those slaves took the beatings of their masters. They kept the master happy. And the result of that is other people didn't suffer because they suffered. See, Jesus ultimately calls you to love everybody, even those who would mistreat you. That's not easy to do, but that's what Jesus wanted. Jesus did not lead a rebellion against the Roman Empire. And whenever he encounters Roman soldiers, he treats them with respect and love and kindness as he does anyone else. And this is what he expects us to do. But what happens when you are loving others? Loving them like a neighbor. People see it. Just as they saw Jesus, and they follow. People follow good teachings and good teachers, and the reason they do that is because they want to learn. This person has authority, and he's being a servant. This is different. It gets people's attention. But what happens if the whole world started putting everyone else's needs above their own? They would help one another, love one another, care for one another. Soon everybody, if everybody was acting like Jesus, then everybody would be treated good and everybody would be acting better. This kind of teaching can change the world if we let it. This is the kind of leadership that Jesus is wanting to. He's wanting a leadership where people improve the lives of those who want to lead. And in doing so, it will make other people want to follow them. When Christ did his miracles, or he fed people, or he went to dinner with sinners and tax collectors, the next part of the verse is that their numbers grew. Because people respected who Jesus was. People respected the fact that he was kind and loving, and that they could get help from them. But Jesus also knew that he wouldn't be with us forever. He had to ascend back to his Father. He had to go and prepare a way for us. So he needed to make sure that his mission here on earth would continue. So he advised us to be leaderships like him. Leaders that would love one another, care for one another, take care of each other. Leaders that would do the hard thing. Do the thing that is not easy, the thing that has to be done. Sometimes we all gotta have a little dirty Harry at us and take care of all the dirty little jobs that come along. But we do it with love and compassion. Because they have to be done. And that other people need help. And they need our help. And sometimes we have to step up for other people. And that's how Jesus defined doing leadership. To be willing to lay down even our lives for other people. This is the kind of leader that Jesus wants. Not someone who takes charge and gets people to do things for him, but someone who takes charge and does things for other people. When someone else can't do it for themselves, a leader does what needs to be done. And if that means dying, so be it. But that can be a hard pill to swallow, and Jesus understood it. But that is the kind of leadership he desires. All right. Thank you, and God bless.